get her bottom leg straight and her top leg bent. All right, and the major band that we work from this position is what I call the outer little toe band, side leg band, which is the one that joins into what's commonly called the IT band or iliotibial band. Now we consider that it starts down here, again at that point of that toe and across the side of the little toe into all of this fine detail in here. Right? And again, the person will only experience the sensation of the tip of that toe when we do use a tool like this. And again, I wouldn't put a chopstick in the hand of a beginner because it's a very refined tool, and if you go too hard it can be very painful in a bad way. But as an experienced practitioner, we would actually work from in here and then work along here. And you can really pick up that tension here. Okay? So again, I might spend quite a lot of time. If I'm actually treating and releasing these bands of tension, I would spend quite a lot of time on that end of the band and really work it properly. And that's why I need to have a good sense of empathy. I need to have a good sense of, is what I'm doing effective? Not just going through the motions. That's the most difficult part of being a good massage therapist, is that ability to sense. You know, we're not just doing an assembly line, we're not just doing something, we have to, it's that toing and froing of finding that tension and then going, is what I'm doing effective at releasing it? And that's where it becomes it's a field of awareness. It's a field of sensitivity, of empathy, of tuning in on a more subtle level, because it's not just something that you can see with your eyes. You can't see this band with your eyes. That's why sometimes the blind people tended to be, you know, some of the best massage therapists as well, and that's one of the skills we need to develop, is just being able to completely tune in, you know, not just on the skin level. You need to be beyond, you know, and that's what I think is so important, is one of the most important, probably the most important quality that makes a good massage therapist. So not just doing this, because if you just do this, you could easily go too hard, or you could easily go too soft. Too soft, you're ineffective. And then you go up the band and then you go too hard, because it's easier to, it's so easy to feel the tension up here. But you haven't done it properly and you haven't felt it. And so this is why, this is what I mostly teach in the advanced course, is to understand that fine detail of that micro tension at the end of the band. And I don't think people are gonna get that without getting a certain amount of experience. Some people are gonna get that easier than others. Again, you know, we were having that discussion there about how does a person become more tuned into Qi, and I was talking about the Shaolin Kung Fu and how they're vegetarian, eating a whole food diet, you know, practicing obviously similar things to, you know, with their Kung Fu, it's similar to like Tai Chi and, you know, cultivating Qi fields and things like that. But also, you know, not getting drunk and not taking drugs and things, keeping your awareness really on point, you know, and learning to sense things. It took me many years, coming from a very Western and intellectual background. When I first learned massage, I couldn't feel Qi. I was just like, you know, what's this? You know, it's just a hunk of meat, you know, of a human body. I had no idea, no sensitivity. So, but it took me many years of just being there and being present with people and trying to sense what I could feel, as well as practicing obviously meditation and cultivation of, you know, more what we call in Ayurveda a sattvic way of life, you know, to increase that sensitivity to life force. Because that's really what we're dealing with, because we're not dealing with a dead person. I always say that a lot of people have this idea of people as just a bunch of muscles and anatomical terms, and, you know, and they can't understand the difference between a living and a dead body. Because there's no, you know, because they don't accept life force. They don't accept the
They study dead bodies.
They study dead bodies. That's, yeah, half their training's on dead bodies. The Chinese used to say in ancient China, they didn't believe in dissecting human bodies because they said once the life force is left, we're not really interested.
Right.
And to me, that was like, wow, yeah, I get that, you know? And I think that, because what we're really trying to do, we're helping the living person. The distinction between the living and the dead person, and that is that life force, or the Atma, or the soul in Ayurveda. And we're looking at how that flows through the body. Because it doesn't matter if we're affecting a nerve in a dead body, nerves are still there. Doesn't matter. You could cause all sorts of, you're not going to cause pain because of causing pain. There has to be a receiver of that pain, right? So we're interested in how that life force is flowing. To me, that is, again, an underlying paramount issue, and that's something that hugely distinguishes Raynor massage from, you know, this modern approach that some massage schools are using in Western countries. You know, I see it in Australia where they don't train people properly in understanding Qi. Even in Canada, they'll have 3,000 hours of massage training, and none of it will be on. In many of the colleges, it'll be an optional extra to study Chinese, extra stuff, even though they've had thousands of years history, because they don't accept Qi, because they can't measure it in their modern scientific, you know, they don't have their,
They can, they just don't accept it.
they don't accept it. Yeah, it's a philosophy. That's why it's almost like a cult. Some of these,
Right.
some of these like RMT. I've noticed the RMT people tend to be like a kind of materialistic cult kind of thing going on. You know, pushing this philosophy that there's no difference between a living body and a dead body, or
Right.
no such thing as Atma, no such thing as soul, and that, you know, people that believe in that are primitive. You know, which is here in Hawaii, as you know, one first state in the U.S. to introduce massage legislation, because Hawaiians believed in the mana, or the you know, the life energy, that's their term for it, and the you know, the imperialists, or the conquerors, or the colonialists wanted to stop them thinking about it in terms of that, and they introduced massage legislation. The people had to learn Latin, had to learn all this stuff, because Hawaiian massage, or lomi lomi, or, you know, was all about, and it's different, of course, you know, but to a certain extent it was about the spirit. A large extent it was about the spirit. It was about the what we call the incarnation. You know, incarnation means the spirit in the flesh. Carne is the flesh in Latin. And it's all about how does the spirit reside in this mortal, this flesh-like body. And to me, that's what actually Raynor massage is all about. That's what shiatsu is all about in a large extent, even though it might be slightly different. And Chinese massage, most Oriental forms of massage, and Hawaiian, were all about that. But now they've got these movements in Western countries, and I think it's based on arrogance and cultural imperialism still, where they think, oh, the white man is better than the black man or the yellow man. Now it's not just, it's more about our ideas are better than yours. You know, you guys are stupid, you know, you believe in this, you know, life force. You know, it's like that movie, Avatar. You know, like these stupid guys that can't tune into life force and just see things on a blank level. No idea about the difference in a living body and a dead body.
And you can't introduce a chemical, you can't package a product that will affect Qi
Yeah.
in a way that
Pharmaceutical companies
So
can't
pharmaceutical
control it,
companies
right?
can't
That's what
control
it's
it.
all about.
So why would they
The
bother?
Rockefeller medicine, you know what I mean? You look into the history of modern medicine, the 1880s, it was all funded by the Rockefeller companies. They wanted to make everybody else, that they came up with this whole term quack. I don't even know what quack, what the fuck is quack? Somebody's quacking, ducks aren't quacking, you know what I mean? But quack is a derogatory term. They even had, there's a court case of the American Medical Association trying to call chiropractors quacks.
Right.
AMA versus Wilk, it's quite an interesting thing, and it was all proven that they were actually inventing mud about the chiropractors because they're in competition. And here we've got this whole major competition thing going on, especially with pharmaceutical companies. They want people to be sick, and they want us to be dependent on their drugs. You start doing Qi-based medicine, it's all about the person and the therapist getting the flow of Qi going, no drugs. Therefore, the rich aren't getting richer. You know, it's the common person's medicine, and we're not siphoning off all this money going to the richest 1%, which is obviously pharmaceuticals are one of the major ones, as well as the military industrial complex and the oil industries. So it's really interesting looking at the politics of medicine. But that's the motivating factor behind these people all using this. I get it a lot. People are, oh, he's a quack, he's this, you know what I mean? They're idiots. You know, it's not just they're idiots, they're actually launching a smear campaign. And I believe that if they're not in the hands of the pharmaceutical companies, some of them are brainwashed, you know.
Well, they're like the doctors, and we know where doctors are coming from.
Oh yeah, and you see that all doctors, I have a lot of friends that are doctors, and they'll constantly tell you about how many visits they get every week from representatives of the pharmaceutical companies trying to push drugs. Here, use this, don't use natural methods. They're not trained in massage, they're not trained in nutrition properly.
And the poor doctors who, usually, all the doctors I've met, they come with such good intentions, but then they just kind of get browbeaten.
Yeah, into the Rockefeller medicine.
And if they don't comply, look how much they have to lose. 6
Yeah.
years of education,
That's right.
clinic.
Yeah,
So they have them, you know,
That's
where they
right.
want them. And so
Yeah.
the poor doctors, a lot of times they don't have an option.
that's right. And that's why, like, this cult of RMTs in Canada, you know, materialistic massage therapists, you know, and they're extreme, you know, and they try and see people like myself as the enemy because I teach, you know, respect.
Because you
for-
are.
Yeah, yeah.
You're competing
Competitive,
against
that's
their
right.
product that they're
Yeah,
trying to sell.
yeah, and they're also trying to be like, we've got to get the respect of the medical profession. I hear that all the time. I'm like, do you? Why?
Right.
Where'd that philosophy come from? Why?
Right.
Why not get the respect of the person you're working on? And then they're friends. That's how you build up a business, right?
Right.
Friends and family, and you know what I mean? And then you got all these people wanting you to work on. Why do we need to respect the medical profession?
Yeah.
They're not gonna give you the respect when they
They're
make
not going to
money.
give you the respect.
They're not gonna give it to you. If you're good.
Unless
if
you
you're
sell
good,
their product,
that's they're not
you
gonna
come with
give
a
you
competing product, how are they
Unless you
going to
become
respect
their
you?
subservient fool.
Yeah,
And
they're not going to
they're not gonna give you respect. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's just, you know, so that's stupid. But that's what these people, like these RMTs, these government accredited programs, of course the government accredited programs like in Australia, for example, are controlled by, you know, and then if you do a government accredited massage program, then you can get healthcare rebates. You know, the healthcare rebates are all part of this medical industry, and they won't give healthcare rebates to other people and all this kind of thing. It's because also the governments are all controlled by pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies will make donations to all major political parties, even the Greens in Australia, you know, the guys will be, you know, influenced by or have these views, you know, of natural medicine and all this kind of, you know, all sorts of political parties will have, you know, different donations coming at them from different groups. Even if they, yeah, a lot of it's subtle, you know, a lot of it's through influence
And of
you
course,
know.
politicians, they're not trained in
Politicians-
understanding, so they're
exactly.
just,
And
okay,
they
yes,
make all these
the
laws.
doctor told me
Yeah,
that
like in
this is-
Canada, all these stupid politicians, they just, you know, and I say stupid, I don't mean to be, you know, rude to them because nobody can be smart about everything, you know what I mean? But they get approached by these guys acting like, oh, we know about the massage therapy profession. You know, you've got to regulate it and make us, you know, register the term, only us should use the term massage therapist. It's bullshit, you know what I mean? They have no respect for the Hawaiians, no respect for the Chinese, no respect for, just because they have this materialistic mode of training where there's no respect for chi. And there's no respect for the art form of massage, it's assembly line massage. And then they want to sit there and dominate others, like some full-on, like, nasty cult that wants to repress anybody who doesn't believe in them.
It has, their massage product has to fit with their current product, which is drugs and surgery.
That's right, that's right.
And that's
In
your
that
part of
whole
that
system.
program.
Yeah,
And so that's why they have to study dead bodies.
Yeah.
Because that's where the chemicals can
Yeah.
affect chemicals.
yeah. Whereas what I'm interested in is the life force. And I'm interested in how this is gonna impact the life force. So I always say, when we're working with the micro, we always wanna look at how that's affecting the macro. So a lot of people might get even too caught up with this, and I'm really working here, but this could produce a massive change in the person. So we need to be aware of both the micro and the macro. What are we doing to the life force of the person through here? And that's the beauty of this. This is where it becomes an incredible art form, you know? And people are scared, threatened by it because it is so powerful at healing people. And people are getting incredible results from this all over the world.
And it takes awareness,
And it takes
which
awareness.
people don't want to
Yeah,
be aware.
that's right.
They
Yeah,
would rather be
Yeah,
unaware.
that's right.
And then
Ignorance is bliss or
then
whatever.
It's gonna bring, right, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Because they might go deeper, which people usually don't wanna go deeper.
Yeah.
They wanna stay on the surface.
That's right, that's right. And that's why traditionally in most cultures, you know, the healers were spiritual people. Almost, not 90, more than 90% of traditional cultures around the world. And it involved that awareness and being able to tune into life force and that sort of thing. So from this band, we would work here, and then it would come in, it's gonna come in through here and through the side here of the. So from this band, I think we got some, I'm in shadow, right? I'm creating the shadow.
No, that's a problem.
Okay. It's going to come in along the side of the toe here. So through here, whoops, right through there, right through here, in here, here. and it's going to come right around the ankle. It hugs the ankle very closely. This is where I would stop using a chopstick, by the way. When I do work with a chopstick right around the ankle to loosen up this band as it comes in through here. Then it's going to just come along the edge here, and it can feel that tight that it can feel like an extra bone through here, okay? And you can see, again, you can't see that much through skin, okay? Skin, clothes, it's hard to see, but you can see I'm flicking over that band there. And it becomes very tight through here, and it can feel like an extra bone, it can feel like concrete through here, okay? And then it's going to travel up. We don't work much around through the knee, but you can feel it, it'll come through here, and then it comes up through here. Okay? And then around the hip, around that bone there in the hip, and up into here, right into there. And then it comes up through here, and into the point up here, around where the shoulder blade is, okay? Hard to feel where it goes from there. I actually do feel like it almost joins in with this other band that I'm gonna show you in the arms through here. All right. Which I call the 7th band, or the armpit band. All right, and I'll show you that soon, and it comes from in here. All right, so that's where that outer little toe band works, and I usually work it from this side coming up to about here, and then I'll change over at my position, to work with my, often depending upon how much pressure, but I might use my then elbow in the hip here, or a knuckle, and then work up from here. So it's easier because it's easier to access this part of the band from that side of the body, because your pressure's coming in like this. But after you hit this peak here, you're gonna then access it from here, okay? This area is in some ways what we were talking about meridians at the start. In some ways very similar to the gallbladder meridian, but I was saying the gallbladder meridian does a sort of zigzag through here, which I don't feel. This goes straight. Okay, I do find that this can relate to a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and sometimes it's good when you work in here to, just encourage people, if they feel the need to let out a scream or, swear, or whatever's gonna help them to let go of their anger. Never have an anger release at the therapist, okay? It should be directed away from the therapist. It's not fair to the therapist to let anger out at the therapist. So yeah, that's pretty important. And again, 70–80% of our work will be on the tip. The tip of the toe and these first couple joints. If we can get this to loosen up, then this will start to loosen up. Then we loosen up that. Then this should let go nice and easy. Then we can get into here either with thumbs or elbows or different techniques that I'll show you. And then this should start to loosen up, and then we get all of that tension out, and this should loosen up. This is also then very effective for people who have things like sciatic pain. There's different bands that could be affecting sciatic pain, but this is a really good one. General hip pain, it just allows your hip to feel a lot more open and free. All right, so that's actually the bands that we've discovered so far in the legs, the 7 of them. So 3 we would work from the person facing up, 3 from the facing down position, although to a certain extent you could work this other band from the bottom of the little toe from this position as well, but it's a bit hard through here. You can access that one from either the side position or with the person facing down. So the facing down is either 2 or 3 bands, and this side position is 1 or 2 bands. Okay, so that's our 7 bands of the legs. Hope you enjoyed it.